tell you a little bit more about Kilo today and why I'm doing this. So let's start there.
No audio.
I was a therapist and worked in neuroscience before making the jump into tech 5 years ago. For the majority of my life, my closest circle of friends have been men. And at the intersection of this facet of my personal life and my professional experience led to the insight that Kilo was born from. Men, unlike women, are not socialized to monitor and track qualitative data. The mission of Kilo is to help men become more insightful and self-aware in order to improve happiness and health. In 2018, men died by suicide 3.5 times more often than women. During the time of COVID-19, mental health has declined further. The problem is men are not supported in tracking and learning from qualitative data. Society has pressured men to track quantitative metrics like hours slept, steps taken, pounds lifted, tasks completed. In contrast, women are also socialized to track qualitative metrics like the quality of sleep, energy, libido, mood, relationship, for example. And this is introduced to the tracking of menstrual cycles. Men too can improve their happiness and health by becoming more insightful about their qualitative state. But how do they do that? They use Kilo. Kilo is an app for men to track qualitative metrics on a daily basis. In turn for their diligence, Kilo will provide actionable data visualizations and narrative insights. In 2019, we did 2 pilots to understand product market fit. We ran it manually via SMS. All participants reported value in participating, and many suggested the experience led to profound personal insights and positive lifestyle changes. The team is made up of our product designer, myself, and our technical advisor, Xander Oxman. Kilo is currently in the process of raising a pre-seed round. Don't miss out on moving the needle on men's emotional fitness. You can email me, bender@kilo.app, to support Kilo. We're building better humans. So if you want to sign up, you can request access to Kilo at www.kilo.app. And lastly, Kilo is working with Startup Hut on an Entrepreneurs Wellness Hour podcast, currently called A Kilo of Wellness, coming in August. So mahalo, Startup Hut. Love to take your questions. I'll pop over into that room, and thank you everyone for your time.
Awesome. That was a great job, Bender. Nice. So she is on her way into this room now. Any quick feedback while we wait for Amanda to come into this room?
Yeah, overall feedback, just for anyone pitching, like I wanted to hear the punchline a lot sooner. Like the story is so important, and if you don't have a story, it's harder to follow. With a story, it makes it better, but I want to hear exactly what the company does a little bit sooner so I can sort of put it all together. It can sometimes make it a little bit more difficult. And so, Amanda, question for you. You said you've spoken to 10 men, or 10 men have done the clinical test or whatever. What number do you think you need to do before you can get like some significance around actually what is happening and you know, maybe getting closer towards validating this assumption you're making on this?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So we actually had 15 men. We had 5 in the first pilot and 10 in the second pilot. Both were 30 days. And so now we're ready to build the alpha, because we believe that the data input screen, the data visualization screen, and the insight screen will be very valuable to our alpha users.
Okay. So I think just to reiterate the question, do you think there's a number there of maybe talking another 30, 50, 100?
Sorry,
I feel like, you know, I don't feel if I chose 10 of my random friends, it's not going to be significant enough to be like, they're all so different. And so what number do you think it is that you need to get to be able to go, we've kind of proven it out for now to target 10 million people or maybe 100,000 people?
Yeah, I would say 100 is the number we're shooting for our alpha. That way we can get different age ranges. So in the pilot, it was 25 to 45 with different ethnic groups. But the pilots were all done in Los Angeles. So we want to get pilot users in different parts of the country, as well as on the end of like 18 to 25, as well as 45 to 60.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably say at least 100. It could go up to a few hundred too, just what you're based on. And last point of feedback, and I'll hand over to the others. I don't know, something about me wanted to just see men also on the team, looking at this solution and kind of like focusing on who's actually working with you closely on it. Something about it made me go, oh, hold on, is this missing spot? And I don't think it is. Like I can say that because we had a dating app a couple of years ago. And we didn't have any women on the team, and every one of our investors was like, okay, you 6 men can't decide what the app looks like without getting a female perspective on it. So just some feedback.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in here. Super compelling concept you have going on here, and it's more than a concept. You actually have it out there working in the real world, which is fantastic. I do have a question on just the makeup and the breakdown of like your user group or your testing group. The first thought that I had was just like, this is great, qualitative natures, in order to kind of like talk about men's health. That's fantastic. It made me think about some of the more intersectional qualities, like things about race or class or gender identity. I would imagine if I'm using this, my experience as a Black man would be very different than somebody else from a different background. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are there, how you're planning on controlling for it, and what are you hearing anecdotally or practically on that front from different groups of people?
Yeah, good question. So the markers that we are using in Kilo are markers that come from qualitative data from menstrual apps and some research that we've done. So I believe the data there is blind to any sort of specific ethnic group or age. But I also come from a diversity inclusion background. So that's something that we're paying attention to. We haven't asked that question specifically about onboarding. When we did some user testing for the current prototype, we tried to get users who were of different ethnic backgrounds as well as socioeconomic status.
Awesome. I appreciate that. The other piece, just a point of feedback in the presentation, just kind of like noticing this through the pitches that we've seen so far. I want to see the UI. I want to see the experience. I want to know what people are interacting with. So any opportunity that you can find to actually show interactivity, that motion does help, not only just emotionally in the pitch, but for people like me who kind of have that background, that context, I want to know what's moving around on screen just so I can make a good take on what the value of this, what this app actually is. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll send you the proto.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so my question kind of revolves around the business model, and I'll kind of unbundle why. I'm a bit more curious about that as well.
Yeah, are you just curious about the business model? Yes, so it'd be a B2C subscription model. So we'd have a freemium version because we don't want to block access for any men to use Kilo, and it will be ad supported. And then the premium model, or we call Kilo Plus, will be subscription based and will provide actually the personalized insights. During the pilot, we tried doing audio insights personalized to the user according to his data with recommendations. And then there would potentially be a group feature for men to create a group to support one another and encourage each other when markers are low or there are correlations or positive trends going up.
Great. And so I asked about that because what I'm really curious about is in your pilot you've run, how accurate is this self-reported data, right? One thing I'm really curious about is like, do men actually know how to emote properly? And does that actually represent what they're actually feeling inside? And I think, for something that's a free app, I feel like there's not enough skin in the game to really perhaps share that. And so I'm curious, like, based on that pilot, did you see the accuracy and, did it really resonate well with the recommendations resonate well?
Yes. So what we do is every day when a guy comes into the app and is asked, like, what is the quality of your sleep, libido, mood, etc., we've given a quantitative scale. So it's 0 to 5. So 0 is you don't want to track that marker for the day. 1 is the worst quality and 5 is the best quality. So during onboarding, we are very clear, and we've done user testing with this, about the purpose of the markers and how to properly give them a score.
Got it. Got it. And so just to be clear, you're using quantitative markers to give qualitative recommendations.
We're using qualitative markers, which we give a quantitative score in order to give insights and data visualizations.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
I might have missed something really obvious, but where does the name come from? Kilo?
Kilo, it's a measurement. Really simple. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I wonder if it, again, one data point, like, I wonder if all of it just sounds very data analysis, high metrics, qualitative, quantitative, like very too, like, I don't know, mathematical, as opposed to like a human, like, you know, it doesn't have to be a boy or girl's name, but someone that helped me get to my goals. And so maybe there needs to be a persona behind it. You know, like Alfred, that does, I think it's a butler company, right? Or Alexa, obviously, with Amazon. So I wonder if that may be missing, because I'm like, man, this just sounds too analytical for me. But the result at the start of it, I'm like, this is really cool. Like, I could use it, but then I'm like, oh, am I that data driven? And what's that? Quantified self, right? So yeah, just some thoughts.
No, it's a really good point. And we've thought about anthropomorphizing the app. And in the onboarding, it says, hi, I'm Kilo. So Kilo is the persona that's interacting with the user. And there's names like, hi, Saba, it's Kilo. It's time to do your check-in. How are you doing today? Awesome. So we know how important it is to do that.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, great to hear. Yeah, then I back up what Michael said, which is show me that experience. And it's so hard in the 2-minute pitch. So good job. And you definitely got a bunch of people excited about checking it out. So.
But I'm hearing you want to see more, which warms my heart.
And just one brief question. With the qualified self, I thought that was interesting. As you started in on the pitch, I was just thinking of like the old school, like Nicholas Felton, like quantified self is like annual reports that he wrote for years and years. Are we trying to completely do away with the quantified self, or just find something that like complements it? I'm just wondering, as far as like a first impression, kind of go to market or a marketing reaction for the users.
The latter. So we are trying to add something into the pool of analytics that men are looking at, but something that is a friend and serves as a foundation to really shifting men's mental health, because we have to do something.
Thank you.
For that question. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we have a few more from the crowd. However, we are running short on time. So what we're going to do is probably have those questions saved for you another time, and we can send those answers to whoever has asked. But Bender, I know you like going by Bender instead of Amanda. Great job. And awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
See you, Amanda. Bender. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around and viewing our first Party Pitchers Pitch event. Have a great rest of your night, and see you in September, where we will have 5 more amazing companies join us in the hut. Until then.